You see them too, right? The numbers? You see them too, right? The numbers? Like little winks from something.
Leo? Ooh, wow, I was just thinking about you.
Coincidence? Or is coincidence just the word we use when we don't have a better one?
What if I told you those, oh, what a coincidence moments are anything but? Reality is desperately trying to send you messages, but you've been expertly conditioned, systematically trained from birth to dismiss them, to ridicule them, to bury your head in the sand. Every single day, reality plants clues, blatant, undeniable signs right in your path. Moments so surgically precise, screamingly meaningful, they defy any notion of mere accident. That song ambushing your senses the second you think of them. That book practically leaping off the shelf, falling open to the exact words that sear into your soul, answering the question that's been tearing you apart. That damned animal, that number, that symbol, stalking you like a shadow. You've been taught, programmed to laugh it off. Coincidence, imagination, your brain just seeing patterns it wants to see. Pathetic excuses fed to you by a system terrified of you waking up. But deep down, in that abyss of your inner knowing they haven't managed to silence yet, that gut feeling, that primal whisper, you've always known there was something more. You've felt it. And you're goddamn right. These are synchronicities, and they are not accidents. They are not random. They are targeted messages. Urgent dispatches, patterns deliberately woven into the very fabric of reality, designed to nudge you, to drag you, to catapult you towards something greater, towards your destiny, the one they're trying to steal from you. The ancients weren't fools, they knew this. Mystics, true philosophers, the real scientific pioneers, they didn't just study it, they lived by it. But modern society, your enlightened modern society, it slaps labels on it, luck, chance, random statistical noise. It sneers and calls you irrational, superstitious, maybe even unhinged if you dare to believe your own experience over their narrative. Why? Here at Thinkabis, we always ask why. Because the system, the one that feasts on your conformity, your predictability, your spiritual sleep, cannot afford for you to realize the monumental truth. These moments of piercing alignment are irrefutable proof that the universe is not the cold, dead, meaningless machine they force-fed you. They are gaping cracks in the prison walls of their purely material, soulless world. So today on Thinkabis, we're not just discussing synchronicities, we're tearing down the goddamn curtain. We're going to expose what these phenomena really are, why the powers that be are desperate to suppress this knowledge, why these messages hammer at your door with such uncanny, undeniable precision, and, most importantly, how you can seize these currents, these lifelines, and fundamentally reclaim your life. This is war for your awareness. The moment you took your first breath, the indoctrination began. You were plunged into a world that worships at the altar of cold logic, rigid structure, and soul-crushing predictability. Everything had to have a rational explanation, their kind of rational. Anything that dared to step outside that tiny, sterile box was instantly dismissed, ridiculed, coincidence, childish imagination, wishful thinking. But what if that conditioning wasn't some innocent societal quirk? What if it was and is a deliberate, meticulously crafted design? A program engineered to keep you blind, deaf, and dumb to the colossal, subtle forces shaping your existence, forces you're meant to command. Dare to remember your childhood before they got their hooks in too deep. Kids are hardwired to patterns, to energy, to raw, untamed intuition. You saw things. You felt the impossible alignments. You knew when shit was about to go down, or when someone you loved miles away was in trouble or thinking of you. You just knew. But what happened when you dared to speak your truth? Oh, that's just your wild imagination, sweetie. Don't be ridiculous. You were systematically, insidiously taught to sever ties with those gut feelings, to betray your own inner knowing, to bow down and trust only what their external authorities, their experts, their institutions, could measure, approve, and categorize within their limited, suffocating framework. The dominant narrative, hammered into you by an education system more interested in producing obedient drones than sovereign beings capable of deep thought, painted a bleak picture. A purely physical world, a soulless machine, devoid of inherent mystery, devoid of any responsive intelligence, just one random, meaningless event after another. And so, inevitably, most of us unplugged. We let our intuition wither and die. This education was a masterclass in suppression. Did they teach you to listen to the universe? To decode reality's messages? Hell no. They taught you to memorize their facts, to regurgitate their rules, to obey their authority. Your innate creativity, your intuitive leaps, your ability to think in vibrant, abstract, multidimensional ways, the very essence of what Think Abyss champions, systematically crushed, sidelined for their version of logical reasoning and hard data. If they couldn't dissect it in their labs or plot it on their graphs, it wasn't real. And questioning their model? That was career suicide, social ostracization. Don't rock the boat. The entire rotten system is built on one terrifying premise. You must trust their external authority, their version of truth, above all else. Never your own profound inner compass. Science, a once noble pursuit of truth, was hijacked. Its mainstream, dogmatic, materialist iteration became the ultimate, unchallengeable gatekeeper. Not the courageous science that dives headfirst into the unknown, but the rigid, arrogant version that labels anything outside its current, laughably incomplete understanding as random, meaningless, or a cognitive trick. Under this jackboot of so-called reason, synchronicities are contemptuously swept under the rug. You see 1111 obsessively? Confirmation bias, you fool. You meet your soulmate at the exact impossible moment? Just luck, a statistical anomaly. Get over yourself. Everything is surgically stripped of its deeper meaning, its soul, leaving you feeling alienated from the very cosmic forces desperately trying to guide you home. But here on Think Abyss, we believe in looking at what they tell you to ignore. Some of the greatest, most revolutionary minds in history, Carl Jung, who coined the term synchronicity, Nikola Tesla, whose understanding of frequency was unparalleled, even Albert Einstein, who pondered the mysteries of the cosmos, all recognized that reality isn't as random or as disconnected as we've been led to believe. They understood that synchronicities, these meaningful coincidences, these patterns and hidden connections were not aberrations, but vital clues to a greater, more profound truth. And yet, today, society often ridicules those who take these experiences seriously. Talk openly about the synchronicities in your life, about the universe communicating with you, and you risk being labeled superstitious, irrational, or worse. Those who embrace these signs are often cast aside as spiritual nuts or woo-woo dreamers, while those who rigidly conform to the purely materialist worldview are praised as logical, intelligent, and grounded. This isn't an accident. It's sophisticated social conditioning. If you want to maintain control over a population, the first and most crucial step is to ensure they never discover their own intrinsic power, their own direct line to the universe. Because the moment you truly start paying attention to synchronicities, the moment you acknowledge their validity, you begin to realize something earth-shattering, something we at Think of This urge you to consider. You are profoundly connected. Connected to something far vaster, far more intelligent, and far more responsive than you were ever permitted to imagine. Reality isn't just happening to you, it's responding through you and to you. Some truths, some explorations are too deep for every platform. The algorithms, the gatekeepers, they have their limits. That's why the Think Abyss community often continues these conversations in other spaces, where we can truly plunge into the depths without constraint. If you're ready to go beyond the veil, to explore where mainstream thought fears to tread, you know the journey doesn't end here. Don't let them keep you in the dark. The real reason this understanding is often suppressed is because synchronicities reveal a fundamental crack in the carefully constructed illusion. They demonstrate that reality isn't just a cold, indifferent clockwork machine. It's an interconnected, vibrant, intelligent web, a dynamic field that is constantly responding to your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions, your very energy. Once you start truly seeing the patterns, you can't unsee them. It's a core tenet of thinking deeply, of peering into the abyss of what is. And that, my friends, is where the real awakening begins. Because the next inevitable question is, if synchronicities aren't random, then what are they? Where do they truly come from? And why do they seem to increase the more you become aware of them? Let's go deeper. At some point in your life, you've had that experience. So precise, so perfectly timed, it sent shivers down your spine. It felt impossible to be random. You think about someone you haven't spoken to in years, and they suddenly call you. You open a book to a random page, and the words in front of you answer the exact question that's been on your mind. You notice a repeating sequence of numbers, 111, 222, 444, whatever it is for you, showing up everywhere as if reality itself is leaving clues in your path. These aren't accidents. They are messages. And the more you start paying attention, the louder and more frequent they become. But here's the real secret, the one that shifts everything. Synchronicities are not just passive coincidences. They are, in many cases, deliberate signals from a deeper intelligence, a guiding force, a universal consciousness that has been quietly, patiently trying to get your attention your entire life. The universe is not a disconnected jumble of random events. It is an infinitely interconnected field of energy and consciousness. Every thought you have, every intention you set, every powerful emotion you experience, it all sends out a distinct frequency, a vibration, like a radio signal broadcasting your unique signature into the cosmos. And synchronicities? They are the universe's way of responding. They are the tangible evidence of that dialogue. They are the bridge between the seen and the unseen, the physical and the metaphysical, your conscious awareness, and the vast, untapped power of your subconscious, that personal abyss we encourage you to explore at Think Abyss. Carl Jung, one of the most influential thinkers in modern psychology, formally coined the term synchronicity. He wasn't just idly philosophizing. He witnessed countless undeniable examples of events aligning in ways that defied logical cause and effect explanation. He believed these meaningful coincidences were not random, but rather expressions of the deeper, hidden order of reality, a concept that ancient spiritual traditions had understood for centuries. Eastern philosophies call it karma. Mystics refer to it as divine timing. Quantum physicists describe it as non-locality. Yet mainstream science often avoids this topic. Consider this. The entire universe is built on patterns. Nature follows fractal geometry. Planetary orbits align in mathematically perfect ratios. Your DNA is encoded with repeating sequences. Everything in existence operates through patterns, cycles, and relationships. So why would your human experience be any different? Why would your thoughts, emotions, and decisions not follow an underlying structure? The answer is they do. And synchronicities are proof of that hidden design. They are the glitches in the matrix, the moments where the underlying order of the universe reveals itself. And once you start seeing them, you realize reality is far more malleable than you were taught. But if synchronicities are messages, then the question becomes, who or what is sending them? Some believe synchronicities come from a higher version of yourself. Others believe they are signals from the collective unconscious. Some even believe that synchronicities are hints from an external intelligence, the universe, God, source, or even a simulation attempting to communicate. Whatever their origin, one thing is certain: synchronicities are not meaningless. They are invitations to wake up, to pay attention, and to shift your awareness from autopilot to conscious creation. Because the moment you start recognizing them, the illusion of randomness begins to crumble. And that leads to the next question, a question for those who dare to think beyond the surface. If synchronicities aren't random, then how exactly do they work? What is happening in that abyss of reality that causes these perfect alignments? And more importantly, how can you harness them to transform your life? The answer, as always when you think deeply, lies deeper. The truth is, there is a hidden mechanism that explains why certain events seem to connect in ways that defy logic. And once you understand this mechanism, you'll realize that you have more influence over reality than you've been led to believe. At the core of synchronicities lies a simple but powerful principle. Your mind is not just a passive observer of reality, it is an active participant in shaping it. Modern neuroscience confirms that your brain filters reality based on what you focus on. This is called the reticular activating system, RAS, a network in your brainstem that determines what information reaches your conscious mind. Have you ever noticed that after you buy a new car, you suddenly see that exact model everywhere? The cars were always there, but your mind simply wasn't filtering them in until now. The same thing happens with synchronicities. The moment you start noticing them, believing in them, and expecting them, your brain shifts focus, and suddenly they appear more frequently. But this goes even deeper than neuroscience. Quantum physics has long suggested that consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping reality. The famous double-slit experiment showed that the mere act of observation changes the behavior of particles at a subatomic level. This means that reality is not a fixed, independent structure, it is responsive. Your thoughts, emotions, and focus literally interact with the fabric of the universe.
Now combine this with the law of vibration. Everything in the universe is energy, vibrating at different frequencies. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs also carry specific vibrations, and these frequencies dictate what you attract into your life. If you're constantly thinking about fear and scarcity, your energy aligns with those experiences. But when you shift your frequency, when you focus on alignment and synchronicities, reality starts to mirror that back to you. This is why people who awaken to synchronicities suddenly experience more of them. It's not just that they're noticing them, it's that their energy is shifting and reality is responding. When you focus on signs and patterns, you are tuning your consciousness into the hidden order of the universe. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Your subconscious plays a massive role in generating synchronicities. While your conscious mind is focused on daily tasks, your subconscious is constantly processing deeper connections, linking information, and picking up on patterns. When you set an intention, your subconscious mind starts aligning events towards that outcome. This is why people who strongly believe in synchronicities experience them more. Their subconscious is actively participating. Now, skeptics will argue that this is just selective attention, random events your brain notices. But if that were true, why do these events carry such deep personal meaning? Why do they align perfectly with your thoughts at the exact right moment? And why can they guide people toward life-changing decisions? Because synchronicities are not coincidences. They are a form of communication between your conscious mind, subconscious mind, and the deeper intelligence that governs reality. The key is knowing how to work with them. Once you start intentionally aligning, they become a tool for transformation. And that leads to an even bigger revelation, a question we must confront if we dare to think into the abyss. Why do some people experience synchronicities constantly while others never seem to? What separates those who live in perfect alignment from those who remain disconnected? The answer and the practical steps to shift your reality are what we at Think Abyss believe you have the power to uncover and implement. It comes down to awareness, alignment, belief, and the courage to act. Most are conditioned to ignore these signs, but you, the thinker, the explorer of the abyss, can choose differently. You've seen the patterns. You've felt the potential for these divine alignments in your own damn life. Now is the time to stop second-guessing. Now is the time to starve your doubts and feed your faith. Now is the time to start profoundly, radically, unapologetically trusting. Trust yourself. Trust the process. Trust the signs. Pay attention. Keep a synchronicity journal. Reflect on the messages. And most importantly, act on them. Act like your life depends on it, because it does. Because once you truly commit to stepping into this conscious, powerful alignment, once you begin to live your life as if the universe is constantly, actively, joyfully conspiring in your favor, because it is when you align with its current, you'll realize a breathtaking, liberating truth. Synchronicities are not rare. They are not special. They are the natural language of an intelligent, interconnected, living reality. They are waiting. They are always waiting for you to wake up, to tune in, and to finally, truly, powerfully see them. If this journey into the abyss of synchronicity on Think Abyss has set a fire in your soul, if you felt that primal roar of recognition, then declare it. Comment below right now with these 3 words: I am awake. Subscribe to Think Abyss for more dives into the profound. Share this weapon with everyone still asleep. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your heart fierce, and your mind untamed. The universe is speaking. It's time you started speaking back.